You guys, what's the tea? What's the hot goss? What's the juicy juice?
The juicy juice.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Vegan View. So today we thought we would do a little Hot Topics episode, and we're gonna kind of touch on some things that are kind of circling in the vegan community, some new products, some interesting people, and maybe some not so great things happening in the vegan beauty community. So we thought we would kind of talk about that and give some opinions, and we want you guys to chime in the comments as well. So the first thing is that Starbucks recently came out with a almond milk vegan version of these little frappuccinos that you can get. I found this at Ralph's, and they're also at Target now, which is really cool. I used to drink these a ton in high school.
Oh my god, I
was addicted to these.
Yeah, all the time, and on road trips too.
Yeah,
like
road
always
trips.
Stop at a gas station and get one. And still sometimes I find that I like want an iced coffee at a gas station. They may not have iced coffee, so it's so nice now that I can grab one of these.
I know, I'm really interested to see if it tastes the same as I remember.
Yeah, so they have two flavors. This is the vanilla that we're gonna try right now, and then they also have mocha.
Which one did you get? I always got the vanilla one.
I always got vanilla.
Yeah, same.
I'm always more of a vanilla girl.
Yeah.
So plain.
But they look really creamy and really nice.
I didn't drink coffee, so.
Cheers!
Tastes like what I used to drink.
That's exactly what I remember.
Yep.
It's really creamy. And if I remember correctly, these have like way more milk than coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So they're more of like a coffee ice cream flavor.
Yeah, it tastes like a dessert.
It's good.
That
It's
is
really good.
so good. I don't like coffee, and this is very, well, I mean, like, I tolerate it.
I mean, what took them so long? I'm so surprised that they're just now coming out with
I
an
know.
almond milk, especially because, I mean, they should know how much non-dairy milks are in demand just from their sales.
Yeah,
Like,
and actually at the actual Starbucks, you
That's
can
what I
get at
mean,
least
yeah.
3 different kinds. Yeah, but I feel like a lot of times when you're at the grocery store or at the like 7-Eleven and you just want to get something that's kind of a treat, that was never an option before, and now it is. So I'm really happy about that. Do you like it?
amazing.
Obviously, I really, I'm just like,
Yeah, if you don't like coffee, but you can like tolerate it like NISHA, then you'll really like these because I think they're good. I think they're good for like coffee newbies.
Yeah, and I love that they're available at Target because
Yeah.
even if you don't have a lot of like specialty type items, like Target is a really great place to get a lot of vegan stuff. We should do like a vegan at Target video.
Ooh.
There's so many great options there.
So I talked about this a little bit on my channel, but I'm so interested to hear your perspectives on it. Basically, what happened is Wet n Wild got caught selling their products in China. A lot of times this happens and it ends up being like a fake or like
like
you know,
knockoff.
illegally
It was,
being
like,
sold.
brought into the country, yeah.
Exactly. It ended up being confirmed that they've been selling in stores in China since 2018. All the while they've been saying that they're cruelty-free. They may be exempt from pre-animal testing laws, which means that they can sell in China without having to test their products on animals. But because of the Chinese laws,
They can use a third party to test on animals.
the Chinese government allows for people to take the products off the shelf and test them on animals for post-market testing. In my mind, if you're gonna have an option to have like if your products can be tested on animals at any point in time, I don't care, pre-market, post-market, whatever, that's not cruelty-free because it's easily avoidable. So
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about this?
Well, this kind of comes up a lot when we talk about cruelty-free makeup and
very
products
gray.
in general. It's all about whether or not they sell in China. And I feel like that's the one area that stops a lot of brands from being fully cruelty-free. And I feel like you have to, as a brand, say that, yeah, there's a huge market there and there's an opportunity for money. But because the law is the way that it is, you have to care more about being cruelty-free than you do about making money. And I think for a lot of these corporations, like, that's just not the way it works.
It's not a priority for them.
Yeah.
It makes me really, really mad because I take my recommendations extremely seriously. Like, I don't give recommendations to anything I've tested less than a month. So when I recommend things like Wet n Wild, like I love their highlighter. It's really hard to find highlighter as a person of color that works with your skin, and to find a highlighter that was vegan, supposedly vegan, cruelty-free, and worked for people of color, and that it was affordable. And then when this came out, I felt very betrayed. I think that when we work with brands, we care so much about you guys, and when they're not transparent with us and they're not honest with us who are working with them, it feels
personal.
like it's personal. I feel like I betrayed myself
Yeah.
and you guys because someone else messed up.
Yeah.
And it makes me mad.
Right.
And like, I know some people just do cruelty-free and just do vegan, but to not be cruelty-free because you're trying to get that gray area just to get that mark makes me really upset because it is about money then, and it's not about the welfare of animals.
Yeah, it's 100% about money. And I have dedicated videos on my channel of Wet n Wild because it's a brand that I grew up with. It's one of the first makeup brands I ever used when I was like, 12, 13, starting to play with makeup. So it's like near and dear to my heart. And then when I went vegan and I was researching cruelty-free stuff to find out that they were cruelty-free, affordable, you can go in a drugstore, pick it up. It's the first thing I recommend to people when they're like, what are some cruelty-free drugstore makeup brands?
Eyeshadows. I remember thinking that the pigment, like how much color payoff you get from using their eyeshadows for a drugstore brand, I thought they were the best.
And
they're clearly labeled vegan.
They're actively labeling the vegan products. The last PR package I got from them was entirely vegan. That's never happened before. Usually I have to pick out the non-vegan ones. I donate them to a women's shelter. But this most recent PR package was completely vegan. So it's just so confusing that you would care that much. I mean, they
try to confuse you though.
They were definitely wanting to attract the vegan and cruelty-free audience, but at the end of the day, money was more important to them because there's so many independently owned beauty companies that are cruelty-free, that don't make a huge profit, that are just scraping by, but they care more about the animals and being cruelty-free than selling in China.
You see this a lot in the fashion, in the fast fashion movement as well. It's called greenwashing, where
Right.
they're just kind of, where they're just kind of hopping on the natural and sustainable bandwagon without actually really making the changes that are needed, just because they know there's a market for it.
And the thing with that is that it's not regulated. So sustainability is not regulated, neither is cruelty-free. So companies can use these as marketing terms. They can say, we're cruelty-free, but they're not. So
like L'Oreal has like vegan products labeled and they're not vegan. They're just using this. They're not certified. They're going through third-party testers. And so that's why it's so important to pay attention to great bloggers like Hannah, like Logical Harmony, like Wife Life, me myself, who really give a damn about animals and we're ethical bloggers, like all three of us. We're not doing this to make a buck. We do it because we love helping people out and we love recommending things and we want to take steps to make the world better. So when companies like that take the step to confuse the public, especially the statement that they released, they're like, oh, we're so cruelty-free that just third parties do it. You're sending your products to China. Like, that's not okay with me. It's trust. I feel betrayed.
Yeah.
What is the other side of the argument? Like people who are still wanting to support Wet n Wild, what's the argument there?
I've heard some people say that Wet n Wild, well, they're not the ones that are doing the testing. It's the Chinese government that's doing the testing, and that they don't test on animals here in the States, so they consider them cruelty-free because they're cruelty-free in the States.
See, I'm not really mad about people who are still using it and promoting it. That's fine. We all have different scales that we approach like our makeup and our own products, but it's more the company that I'm upset with and how they're trying to like backpedal because for people who want to be the most like ethical consumption kind of bloggers, it's hard for that. Like I have no problem if you're like, oh, that's too much for me, I'm just gonna do that, like that's totally fine. But for me, I want my recommendations to have a certain guideline and to confuse us. That's my problem. It's more the company, less like the general public. Like, that's fine.
My thing is like, they're deceptive. Didn't talk about selling in China until they got caught selling in China. Then they came out with this very cleverly worded PR statement. You guys, they pay tons of money for the best PR people in the business to cleverly word this to make you feel like you're okay by still purchasing their products because they don't want to lose you as a customer. But I think it's important to make a statement that no, this is something that we are standing for. And there are so many drugstore brands that are cruelty-free that you can still support. Check out my video.
I was
Logical
gonna
Harmony
say, she has a great
list.
video about this. And I liked that in your video you said that there are still a lot of great drugstore options because a lot of times you think like, there's so many great cruelty-free products, but you think that they're going to be outside of your budget. And things like NYX is one of the ones that I really like.
NYX is great.
And they're really inexpensive in comparison to some of the other products in the market.
Yeah, and the thing is if they're going to lie about that or hide the truth, however you want to call it, what else are they going to hide?
What loopholes are they jumping through?
Yeah, somebody told me that they saw one of their products was labeled vegan and had silk in it. And it's like, I don't feel comfortable anymore. You've
You're obviously,
you've shown your true colors.
Yeah, you're obviously, you don't really care about the ethos of it, and you're really into branding and making money from a movement of people who really do care. And I don't like people being taken advantage of, because like I love you guys.
Yeah.
So.
And let's be clear, like I think it's not like we're just like bye, we're over you. Like I know, like at least for you and I, like we've promoted these products, we've loved these products, we've loved this company. Like we're devastated over this. It's heartbreaking. I don't want to say goodbye to one of my favorite makeup companies.
Well, because we have to do work to like retest all these other brands, and we've already stood by a product.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're switching over stuff to cruelty-free vegan stuff, it's like you're constantly trying stuff and trying to replace. And when you find something that's good and you can recommend it and help people,
you're
it's
like, yes.
it's the best thing ever. And to find out you've been recommending something that's just not what you stand for, it sucks.
Yeah.
But
we'll definitely link Logical Harmony's blog post as well, because it really breaks down like
so
what
good.
is the different types of animal. Like her whole site is really helpful in general, but this blog post is
and they test on dogs, guys.
Yeah, come on.
It's just very disappointing.
But it makes me very proud to go out and find other stuff. Like I feel like I have a new challenge. I really am proud of like Cover FX came out and they're like, we will always be cruelty free. We will not find third party testers. And I was like,
Pacifica too.
Pacifica too.
Which is drugstore price range. And I mean, for me, it's kind of like, I've always been kind of like, I love a good bang for your buck situation. So I love a steal, but I'm also kind of like, you know what? Nah. Because sometimes these bigger corporations are driven strictly by money and sales. And it's because you have all these different people in charge that are making decisions, and I think it's so important to like save up maybe the little bit of extra money and support a company that you really believe in.
Makeup is not a necessity. It is a fun activity and it should be fun. And if you can, like, why would you contribute to cruelty for a fun thing you do?
Yeah.
Especially when there's so many other options. Like you
so
said,
accessible.
CoverGirl is a great option. That's kind of interchangeable. NYX, Elf, Pacifica. There's a lot of really good. Milani, I love Milani. Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah.
It's an easy swap, I think.
And I think it's honestly a blessing in disguise, because I think a lot of people are making noise about this, and like I encourage you guys to make noise, send them emails, and like let them know that this upset you. So we have to see the positive that like maybe this is just one step closer to more brands being cruelty free.
Yeah.
So we're not getting Wet n Wild anytime soon.
Thank you, next.
Why would they name that? Wet n
I know,
Wild?
now that I think about it, I never thought about that before.
A whole new world? You bet your ass it is.
Well, Aladdin is actually trying to make that happen.
So Mena Massoud, who is Aladdin in Disney's new live action Aladdin, is apparently vegan. He has the Instagram
Evolving Vegan, and it's a company that he built to
Yeah.
be like a community for people who are interested in veganism. He's basically us.
So, if you guys want him on the show, please go tag him, go to Evolving Vegan, go to his personal Instagram page, tell him to be on the Vegan View because we
would
want
love
to talk
that.
to him. Aladdin himself, and I love what he's doing. He's making it such a cool, like, tangible thing.
100%, and I commend him so much because he's like, this is probably the peak of his career, or at least the start of it.
Yeah.
And he is not shying away from talking about what matters to him, which I think is so easy for people to do in Hollywood when they get
They
a
don't
little...
want to do anything that's gonna like ostracize them. They want to be as out there as possible, but it's brave to do that.
And his whole thing is he wanted to have a community that was celebrating all stages of veganism. So
What is this?
Literally what we preach.
We should be
is-
best friends.
Yeah, like people who are interested, people who are doing meatless Mondays, people who are halfway vegan or vegetarian, and then people who are already there. It's just like, which is, I feel like, exactly why I love our Facebook group so much, because I feel like we have such a good mix of people at all different stages of their veganism. We always encourage you guys to encourage other people at every phase.
And it's so important in times like right now where it is so dire to start paying attention and looking at the world and how it is and expanding your consciousness to not only veganism and eating less animal products, but like to plastics, to fast fashion. I think this is a great way of including more consciousness in society, and I love that he's using his platform to do that, because how brave it is it
so brave,
you know?
I mean, I also love that, you know, it sounds so weird, but that he's a guy doing this, because I feel like there's such a stereotype of that veganism is for women, and we've talked about this on the show, like veganism versus masculinity. I just think that sometimes there's a stereotype that, you know, anything that's like diet related, that it's gonna be more of a female issue, and I think it's cool that he's like, no, I'm a guy, I'm in a big movie, like, you know, I'm in shape, and I still think that this is cool and that this is masculine, and he's being a really good role model for people, because there's such a stereotype of like what a vegan man looks like.
Oh, sir! He's got some stuff to say.
It's for the best.
He's like, Mena Massoud, come on the vegan field. Archie,
He really wanted to be a part
I like
of that
what you're putting
conversation.
down.
I like it too.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm all for if you're in a place of privilege. He's like a masculine male. He's in a big movie. He's a big movie star now, and he's using his privilege as a platform to help. Tickles my pickle.
We like it.
And the movie Aladdin is so
I
cute.
haven't seen it yet. I'm so excited.
I saw it last night. It was really good. I thought he was amazing in it, and I'm sure he's going to be in so many more movies, which is just so great for the vegan community to have somebody so talented out there talking about stuff. And
Making
normalizing
it cool.
veganism.
Making it cool.
100%.
Yeah, that's awesome.
A whole new dog.
Hello, Fran. You want to be in our Hot Topics conversation?
Sounds great.
Someone else, though, who I think is really impressive and doing amazing things in the media is Greta Thunberg. Is that how you say her name? She's a 16-year-old girl, if you guys don't know, from Sweden, and she started staging these school strikes on Fridays, where basically she found out about climate change. She got really upset. She was only 8 when she started learning about it, and she got really, really upset about it and thought, like, why are adults not doing more about this? And actually became quite ill because she was so depressed about not having a future, and she was learning all this information about how climate change is going to be like irreversible after 12 years from now, and she's thinking, you know, grown-ups are saying we can do anything with our lives and the future is ours, but there's not going to be a planet for, you know, her kids and her grandkids, and she found it very depressing, and she actually stopped eating. And she got really depressed. Then her parents took her to see a doctor where she was diagnosed with Asperger's and selective mutism. And because of that, she sees things really in black and white. And she thinks, like, if there's a climate crisis, we should be acting like there's a crisis. And therefore, she started doing these school strikes, and they caught on all around the world. And kids from all of these different schools from all over the world now strike on Saturdays on Fridays for climate change. And she's really the leader of this movement. She's done a TED Talk, she's talked to the UN, and she's really the 16-year-old girl now. She's become kind of the face of this movement, and it's so powerful and so cool. I think she's awesome.
Yeah, I love it so much. I found out about her through you, actually, and watched her TED Talk, and it's just so interesting when you put it into that perspective that because she has this like specialized way of looking at the world, that she really sees the seriousness in this. And I think that that's something that like a lot of like your everyday person might not, like, they'll just gloss over things. And we're given so much information that we're just like, man, that's fine, it'll be fine, it'll all work out, without really thinking about like what our everyday actions do to contribute to it.
She can really see past the extraneous circumstances of like what's going on day to day and see what's going to happen to us. And I wish with everything we saw the bigger picture. I think it's such a refreshing take by a young woman who everyone always tells, like young girls, I feel like especially, that you're too young, you can't make a difference, you can't be seen or heard as much as an adult, you have to wait, you always have to wait. And I love that this new generation is coming in and saying, we don't have time to wait. We want people to be as panicked as we are, because it's going to affect them the most.
That's the thing. I think a lot of times older people are like, well, I'm not gonna be here, so I don't really care how the environment is or how the world is. And it's just, it's like
who would want to raise children in a world that doesn't care about what's happening?
Right.
That's why she got so upset, though, is because, you know, she was hearing about all these things that were going to happen to the planet, and it was like, what am I going to learn in school that is going to help me for the future that I'm not going to have, or my kids aren't going to have? And she got really depressed about it and really upset. And I think it's interesting because she was giving a speech to a room full of grown-ups at Parliament. You know, that would be a really intimidating thing as a young girl, especially feeling like, oh, you know, I'm a kid and they're grown-ups, are they going to listen to me? And she said to them, I want you to panic. I am panicked. I'm freaking out. And no one is panicked. And she's like, this is the only way that we're going to actually be able to meet the Paris Agreement goals. is if we all panic and we all treat this like a very serious thing.
We need more people trying and less people doing it perfectly or not caring.
Exactly.
We need to all do our part.
And we need to be talking about it too. It's just something that I feel like everyone knows that, like, you know, there are things like that the environment is in distress, but I don't think we really talk about it enough to the extent, like she was saying in her TED Talk, she's like, it's not on the news every time you turn on the news.
It should
We're
be.
talking about like the Kardashians, and we're not talking about like really actual serious things that we need to be changing our everyday way of living to accommodate. And I love that she touched on countries that have less infrastructure than ours, because of course we're not worried. We live in our beautiful homes and we have cars, and we're pretty much set that if something does happen, like we can still survive, whereas like there are places that are not as wealthy that are going to really be affected the second stuff starts to come down.
I think too, it's interesting when you watch something like that, like if you watch her TED Talk, which we'll link below, it's interesting because a lot of times we watch stuff like that and then you just go about your life.
Yeah.
And I was watching it with some friends and
Well, that is precious.
Okay, well, yes, you are so
Stop it!
Yes, I know.
Oh my god. Okay, Archie. Well, what I was saying
can't live
was,
my life normally after that.
I know.
So distracting.
It was so cute.
You can't be on the show if you're gonna be this distracting. We're talking about serious stuff.
So cute. No, but I think a lot of times we watch stuff like that and then you just go about your daily life and you know you have to do something, but then, you know, we're reaching for the single-use plastic and the fast fashion and the, you know, if you're not vegan, like the, you know, the food that is a big strain on our resources, and just think, oh, well, I'll do it later, I'll do it next time. And I think it's really important to pause after watching that, not just jump to the next video or the next article, but think like, okay, this is such an important issue. What can I do actually in my life to make a difference? Like get a reusable water bottle, you know, and try to carpool if you can. Like all these little things that we can do. I think it's so typical now to just jump from like video to video to video and next stimulating thing, and actually pausing to digest what I read about when I read about her really had a big impact on me.
She's very inspiring too, at least just like the fact that she is as young as she is, and she is so passionate about what she like believes in, and the problems that our world is going to face, and the fact that she's willing to talk about it. I think everybody could do that a little bit more. I think we're always so worried about what people are going to think of us in social situations if we talk about something that means a lot to us. And I think we really kind of need to test the boundaries on that, because I think it's important to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Let us know if you guys like. Can you stop making out with my hand? Thank you. Let us know if you guys like this kind of video. I would love to do more of these.
Sorry.
So distracting. It's my time to shine.
It's beautiful. Let us know if you like our new 4th member of the Vegan View.
You guys
gorgeous.
keep asking for a 4th member. Here he is.
Yeah, he's another little strawberry blonde.
All right. Anyways, yes. So let us know if you guys like this style of video with the hot topics. Let us know if there's anything like in the news, hot topic wise, that you would like to hear us talk about, and we can include it in our next one if we do another one.
And chime in with the topics that we talked about today, especially how cute Archie is.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up so other people can see it, and check out our individual channels. Please check out his Instagram, because look at this
Scrumptious
animal. He's delectable. Check out our Facebook group. We can talk in there and talk amongst yourselves. He's very distracting and adorable, and we'll see you guys next time in a new video. Bye! A whole new world? Yes, it is.
That's exactly what
bet your ass.
That's exactly what the real life Aladdin is trying to do.
What is going on? What? Yeah! Either I am way sicker than I thought I was, or
I think we're sicker.
I'm sick in the
In the head.
No, I mean like